Happy Preptober, y'all! It is that time of year again, and for the first time in a while, I don't actually know what project I'm going to be working on for NaNoWriMo, but that's because I'm saving it for the very end, the very last day of October, as the clock strikes midnight kind of deal. I am going to be leaving my fate up to the tinkly skull dice. I saw my good friend Jessica Williamson do something like this last year or the year before, where she flipped a coin to decide which project she was going to be working on, and I have just been craving that old school NaNoWriMo feel. The past few years, my nanos have been all about continuing projects and trying to finish certain projects, but as Project Death is going to be in like a rest period during November, hopefully, I figured this was the perfect time. But that isn't to say that I won't have any prep. In fact, I would say that I'm going to be doing more prep than ever before, because for the month of October, I'm going to be taking 6 ideas, the smallest kernel of an idea, and transforming them each week until it's time to roll the die. And while I tell you about my potential 6 or 7 ideas, I'm going to be making a NaNoWriMo advent calendar of sorts. I got a bunch of little bags, and I'm going to fill them with a candy or snack of some kind, a quote, an inspirational quote, several of which I've actually pulled from my patrons when I asked them what their favorite inspirational quote on Reddit was, and like a silly little prompt of some sort for the day. Yes, but first, let me tell you how small the kernel of these ideas really are. Option 1. What I have in my notes as mystery beauty guru, where I was inspired by some old Agatha Christie kind of takes, wanted to do a closed circle mystery, and thought that my poor characters, my poor terrible characters, are going to be like beauty gurus. I was inspired by like a certain stage of YouTube. Yes. Vague concept 2. I'm calling it adventure geocaching for now. That will change throughout the course of the prep. But it's an adventure story kind of inspired by when I was in college. Geocaching was like the thing for a hot minute, and I thought it would be fun to almost have like, you know, 35-year-old characters that are coming back for like one last adventure, like a grand scale treasure hunt. That's what I want it to be. I want it to be funny, but like a reconciliation and an adventure, yes. Concept 3 was inspired by the song I Shot the Sheriff. I was just riding in the car and the song came on and I was like, holy shit. It's already a story in itself, but I just think it would be fun to write. And I'm imagining like a near future-ish setting, so like a mystery, but in the future. Idea 4 is like talent shows, like America's Got Talent meets the Hunger Games. There already was like a talent performance part, but I really want to make it like more 50-50. That's it. That's all I have for the concept. Very vague. Option 5 is continuing the co-written project I worked on with my brother during a different Camp Nano. It's a dystopian, the current working title of Secret Theater. It is debatably the idea that is the most far along, because David and I did plot out the entire thing, and I just need to do some more of my part, and so I thought that might be fun Nano activity. Option 6. What I currently think of as the intuitions about these beings that are the ones that act as human intuition. They're the ones who are like trying to move people certain ways, but for the purpose of the gods. So it's like the humans are NPCs. And they are the intuition kind of shoving them over to the side a little bit. I want to play with a whole swath of different goddesses and ancient beings, and yes, that is it. That is the idea. And finally, option 7 was just something that I overheard in the cafe while I was writing out all of these ideas. I heard someone say, she's very well known in the organizing community. And I was like, that's interesting. Was not aware that there was such a huge organizing community in Austin, Texas, but I am intrigued. And wouldn't it be fun if it was paranormal? Paranormal professional organizing. So that's it. That's what option 7 is. I do not currently have an option 8. Don't know what I'll do if I roll an 8 on the stroke of midnight, but that is for future me to figure out. You know, the great part of AuthorTube is that for you guys who have watched my vlogs for so long, is that like you really get to hear a very rambling mess of what my stories are about. And so there's like an invested interest, at least in that capacity, but I'm really bad when someone asks me, what are you working on for NaNoWriMo? Being able to tell them what I'm working on in a concise way and not just sputtering out like the genre and muttering and leaving. All right, I pulled 3 quotes at random. I folded up the rest and I'm gonna put them in the bags here, but I wanted to give you an example. Terry Pratchett, the first draft is just you telling yourself the story, is very inspirational, especially during NaNoWriMo time. Thank you, Lynn, for recommending this Stephen King quote. For me, good description usually consists of a few well-chosen details that will stand for everything else. In most cases, these details will be the first ones to come to mind. And Ace Coffee shared the first stanza of this poem by Julia Donaldson. I opened a book and in I strode. Now nobody can find me. I've left my chair, my house, my road, my town and my world behind me. I love the transportive power of books, and that's really all I want to write, and so it's so perfect. So, quote in the bag. So I joke that I'm bad at titles, except that it's not a joke and just the truth. I've done a few experiments this year to get better at titling my projects, and so that's actually where I want to start for week 1 of prep. Titles are the thing that draw your attention first. And I find that a great title that sticks in the mind, that gets people intrigued, is just a great marketing tool in itself. And frankly, I'm just running out of project colors, so project blue, project purple. And don't want to resort to continuing a Project Death-esque trend. The next week will be log lines or the elevator pitch. It is the quickest way to tell someone what you're working on and get them excited. And again, I'm just tired of mumbling out an incoherent answer. Some are easier than others. Like I'd argue the I Shot the Sheriff futuristic mystery idea is kind of easy if you've heard the song. I'm just like, well, I'm doing that, but in a novel format. But I'd love to find a comp title or reference or 2 for each of the ideas, as well as just a short, sweet sentence that I can practice and not stutter over my words. Week 3 will be all about the query. So again, really building out here. It is in essence still a pitch, just a longer one that I would give to an agent. So not quite the blurb on the back of the book or on Goodreads, but close. This keeps me from having to know the entire story still, but does condense down what's most exciting, what's most important, really the stakes of the story, and the selling point before people read it. I've done a few queries before, but definitely don't feel comfortable or as if I'm particularly good at them. And I would like to be one of those people that is particularly good at them. And since so much of that is just practice, now I get to do it 6 or 7 times. All right, quick break to now add the 15 challenges to the assorted bags. So for instance, I have things ranging from include the word fire, to work from a coffee shop today, to create a silly sentence using the first words of each paragraph that I write that day, and take today off. Enjoy your well-deserved break. So let us fold these up too. I don't know why this part was such a struggle last time. And finally, week 4 of Preptober will be the synopsis. I currently have this goal set at 2 to 3 pages. I do think that this might be where I start cutting some of the potential ideas, probably only 1 or 2, just in case I'm looking at it. I'm you know what, it just doesn't interest me now that I'm this far along. But at that point, it will help me almost act as an outline of sorts. The actual synopsis isn't particularly fun, narratively. You're telling exactly what happens in the story and why. When I've written these synopses, when I've done this before, I've struggled to articulate why certain things needed to happen in the story, and I think starting from that, why it needs to happen, will really help down the line, just to corral my thoughts during the craziness that is Nano. And then it will be November 1st, and it will be time to roll the die. All right, so now all that is left is to hang all of these. More than this. Hang up my years old NaNoWriMo banner and let you in on one more little secret. I'm actually going to be gone on the first few days of November and the last few days of Preptober. So I'm gonna cheat this a little bit and start a little early. I will have some vlogs up those days and share the reveal for those of you that are interested. Okay. Done. Please do comment down below and let me know what y'all will be working on during NaNoWriMo. What does your prep plan look like? How will you be spending your Preptober? Let me know if you have no idea, some idea, kind of like me maybe. Let me know if you'll be rolling a die or flipping a coin to decide. Or let me know if you have it all figured out. I would also love to know if you're trying something new this NaNoWriMo. whether that thing is actually NaNoWriMo itself. Or maybe you're taking some lessons learned from last year or throughout the course of this year and trying to apply it to November. I would love to hear about it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye!